Hi, my name is Chris Hipwell. I'm the current manager of Hipwell Farm and Ranch. I'm a fourth generation farmer and I love farming. I grew up doing it. I also grew up doing ranching and I love ranching as well. I loved it to the point when I went off to college, I wanted to get a degree in something that had to do with that. So I got a degree in agribusiness with an emphasis in farm and ranch management and a minor in soil science. I learned a lot in college, and when I returned home to farm with the rest of the family, I realized a few things had changed since before I went to school. My parents and other family members had also noticed that there was a drastic change, and this led to us to think about a few things, which ultimately led to my family selling their farm. The reasons that led to this decision were that we were a small family farm and which only had 400 acres. This is much smaller than what is currently asked of a family farm in this area to need, which is around 1,000 acres. We tried renting ground, but this never proved out to be profitable and highly competitive. We also tried buying ground, but the ground was so ridiculously expensive we could never make it work within the business. So with those two things unavailable to us, we decided to sell the farm. With our cattle, we've always rented ground and thought that we would continue renting ground for much longer. But we noticed that the same thing was happening in the area where we rented or where we ran our cattle. Families are getting bigger in the area, therefore they need more ground to support their families. So those that own ground don't want to rent it anymore, and those that own ground and want to sell it, maybe they're getting old and they don't have anybody to pass it on to, are selling it for a rather large price. Ranches are the same exact thing. The ranches that are up there and are up in the mountains and are for rent, you see that the family that we're currently running with is growing to the point where we're going to be pushed out because their herd is going to be so big that there's not going to be any grass left for our herd. So with no job to me, uh, I've we've looked at different locations that we'd like to move the family farm and our cattle for our ranch. One of the places is pictured on the right. These pictures are an example of the difference between where we are currently, which is on the left, to where we want to move on the right. The current place on the left is, as you can see, very dry, not very much grass, very labor intensive because we're always moving the cows around. You have to have large allotments. So for example, this allotment is 50,000 acres. The one on the right is much less than that, where you would have a small percentage of what you would need of 50,000 acres. So the ranch on the right, located in eastern Oklahoma, is where we are currently looking at relocating. But we know that we need more than just acreage to run our cattle on. We also need something to farm. So the farm that would relocate to eastern Oklahoma, there's obviously a lot more grass based on those last two pictures. So there's land that's available that's much less expensive than where we are. We could make things work, and we could own our ranch instead of having to rent. So we wouldn't have to be worried about every year trying to find a place to put our cows. The poultry farm in itself would be able to generate 15% more income than what our current farm was able to provide us. And over a 10-year period, it could be up to 100% more income than what we currently are making. This is my team. This is me, my wife, and my son. We also have a little girl that would be helping us. She was just born, and she would be a part of the family farm. Now, family farms are becoming less and less common but this one would be a family farm, family owned and operated. So we're asking our investors to invest $300,000 in the farm in Oklahoma or Missouri and help the family farm move there and donate current farm assets to the new farm in Oklahoma. Through all of this, taking the assets, or donating assets and helping us move with the investment of $300,000, we could make things work and it would give us a start. The plus to this is that the Hipwell family farm and ranch would be able to live on. And this would be a benefit not only for me, but for future generations. Thank you.